Okay.
Sounds like we're doing a bunch of coke before we start recording.
It does. It does exactly what it sounds like.
Bang heads on table.
Oh, this is gonna be the snippet. This is gonna be great.
Oh, please no. Oh, Jesus, why did I wait until we recorded to do that?
I had water in my mouth.
FBI guy who's watching me, I don't actually do cocaine.
Yet.
You live in Florida. Everything is made of cocaine.
Is cocaine?
That's true.
Cocaine isn't a federal crime.
Yes, it is.
Yes, it is.
Not consumption.
Wow.
Oh my God.
Okay.
In the U.S.?
Really? It's a federal crime to consume cocaine.
Yes.
Bro.
It's a Control 1 substance.
Girl.
One substance to rule them all.
One substance to rule them
Bind
all.
them.
Anyway.
Welcome everyone to Anime Club After Dark, where we just reference a bunch of movies and talk about cocaine.
We don't talk English, we talk references.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to Anime Club After Dark, the podcast that delves into all things anime, manga, and otaku culture related. I'm your host, Alex, but you can call me Senpai, and joining me tonight, I have everyone. I have our czar of source material, John.
Call me Tony Montana.
Why, do you have a little friend?
Shut up, they say it's average.
We have our poser extraordinaire, Nitai.
Yes, I am the great pretender. Just laughing and gay like a clown.
And we have our chivalry of Shota, Shotaro.
If my pussy like girls, is my pussy gay? Happy Pride.
Oh my God.
See, we're going strong with the list there, right, Show?
Oh shit! It was so damn hard for me to get through that fucking intro, by the way, because
Dude,
I
you
just
nailed
kept
it.
thinking of what was going on beforehand.
Snorting cocaine.
Thou shall not speak
Some of
the
it,
devil.
no. Some of it may end up as a snippet. I don't know at the beginning of this, so if you heard that, you're welcome. You can thank John for it.
Boy.
Nice
Oh,
meme.
Jesus.
Nice meme.
There's so much stuff that goes on before we start recording that a lot of people don't hear or see.
For a good
and
reason.
I feel like if they for very good reason, some of the stuff that the jokes that we make are not safe for the public consumption.
For the podcast is dark and full of terror.
Yes, but I feel like maybe one day, when we want to stop doing the podcast, we release all those recordings we have and stuff we done beforehand.
I like not going to prison, Alex. So let's not do that. Thank you.
But anyway, we've gotten together this night. We're gonna talk about something that is very important when you're watching anime, and that's the very first episode. We're going to talk about some of the things that make up a really good first episode of an anime, and then we're also going to talk about some of our very favorite first episodes or opening scenes of an anime. I would like to point out that, even though we are talking about only stuff that appears in the first episode of an anime, some of the stuff we are going to talk about could be considered spoilers if you haven't seen these animes, so we'll definitely be sure to mention the title of the anime before we start talking about it, but I guess consider this your warning if you are a stickler for spoilers.
Warning for all the anime.
Yeah, we will. We may be talking about certain twists or revelations that do come about in the first episode of the anime that we talk about.
And if you don't want to hear us talking about specific anime because you're scared of spoilers, there are timestamps in the description below. You can just skip through them.
I wonder who does those timestamps, Natai. Do you know?
I wonder who could it be?
I wonder too.
All right, enough of jerking each other off.
All across the ocean.
All right, so getting into it though, what are some of the elements that actually do make for compelling first episodes or opening scenes of an anime for you guys?
Drama. Give me that
Drama.
drama.
No, you got to say it right. It's drama.
Is that a reference to something?
No, but it's like it sounds sassy.
No, it's like a drama.
Drama alert gang.
I hate drama in the very first episode of shows. Because it's like, it's going to be one of those shows where they're going to obviously do cliffhangers every fucking episode.
You don't like
okay?
cliffhangers every
And-
episode?
Listen.
Next time on Dragon Ball Z.
It's just a cheap way to keep making me watch. Not to say that I'm not going to keep watching because I'm here for the drama, but I'm just saying I hate it. I hate it, but I keep watching it, but I hate it.
You love to hate it, and you hate to love it.
Yeah, actually,
It's like
though.
crack cocaine. You hate it, but you can't stop coming back.
See, the thing with drama in the first episode, like, I'm okay with them hinting at the drama that's to come. I don't want them to introduce all of the drama in the first episode, though.
I want it, like, I feel like some of the best first episodes have a holy shit, what the fuck, oh my god moment. Like, there's like some drama. It doesn't have to be like a cliffhanger. It can be like anywhere in the episode. But like some shit has to go down.
Yeah, it needs that like that one moment where you're like, oh, where like you realize you're into like a something really special. Like a good example is I think the first episode? I think it is in Code Geass the first time. I mean, spoilers, but the first time Lelouch uses his power, that's a really big moment. Like, oh, and then of course the show then builds upon it with more like twists and turns along the way, but that sort of like sets the tone for the rest of the show about the energy of the show and how you will sort of like react to it, because you're like, holy shit, that was fucking cool. I want to see where it goes next. And I think that in general is like, at least to me, what I'm looking for in a first episode is like the show sets a tone for me. Like another good example would be Cowboy Bebop. Like the first few seconds of that show are just like a flashback of Spike walking in the rain with this like with these roses in hand, walking up to that church, and then just fucking blazing dudes with his rifle, you know? And it's like
Fucking Greenbird starts playing, and you're just
yeah,
like, oh man.
it's like it's super like, you know, super. It sets the tone instantly, and then the rest of the episode also builds on that very melancholic tone. It's fucking great. I love that first episode.
Cowboy Bebop has to have one of the most cinematic opening episodes of an anime I've ever seen.
Yeah, agreed.
That Cowboy Bebop episode, was that a flash forward at the beginning?
Flashback.
Yeah.
A flashback? Honestly,
It's a
I hate
flashback to the
that.
time he left the. That
I
thingy.
hate when anime start with flashbacks or flash forwards. It just pisses me off so much because it's just out of context. No matter what they do, it's out of context until you finish watching the entire episode or the entire show and go back and look at it. So I'm like, why are you dumping this info on me now? Like, just fast forward.
I don't even
wanna
know
see
who
this.
these people are. Like,
who the fuck are you guys? Why do you matter?
I mean, I kind of understand because I hate shows that start at the end, at the beginning. Like, why? Why would you show me everything's gonna culminate to the ending part, you know? I'm like, I hate that. Don't do that. Just show me what happens and then show me the ending. Don't show me the ending and then cut to go back to the beginning. Like,
it's
stop.
funny you say that. This isn't an anime example that I'm about to give. It's actually a video game, but it's an example of something that does that exact thing. But I actually love it to death, and it's Halo Reach. Because you go in knowing exactly how it's going to end because you see the ending in the very first like few seconds.
Yeah,
but that works though. It can work if you do it right.
All right, so first of all, Halo Reach is because you're playing the game, so you actually experience the build-up, which is completely different from watching it.
Yeah.
You know, when you're watching it, you're looking for the climax, and if you see the climactic scene from the beginning, it kind of goes all downhill from there, in my opinion. Like, it's hard to, like... There's just so many shows that do that, and I just hate it.
I hate it especially when they just do like a little like snippet of like people talking and you have no idea what happened. Like you have no context and you have no idea what the scene is. I'm just like, what was the point of including that in there? Like, it does nothing.
I will say, if you're talking about like opening scenes, like the first few seconds of an anime, or really any kind of serialized work, it could be a regular live action TV show as well. I actually don't like it either when like the opening scene is literally just two characters talking about something and you have no context for what they're talking about. I don't like that because I find that just very distracting.
It could be
like,
engaging though. Like
there's so many goddamn questions going through my mind. Like, who are these people? Why are they talking? What the fuck are they talking about? I don't care anymore.
And that's not to say that there aren't shows that don't do it well, because there definitely are. Like Berserk, for example, it starts off with a flash
forward.
Well, it's in the present, and then it does a flashback thing. But I mean, I don't mind having it. I don't mind having flashbacks or flash forwards. It's just that when literally the climax of your season, like if this is strictly just anime, like I don't know, Magical Girl Raising Project, was that the anime where it shows like the battle royale thing and we see who wins in the very beginning?
Yeah, you see who wins at the very end, or at the very beginning.
Not that.
Yeah, and I'm just like, why? I know who wins. Like, why would I watch this? The first fucking 3 minutes and 30 seconds, I know who wins.
Wait, actually?
So here's the thing. Here's the thing, though. I have to defend that because I actually genuinely love Magical Girl Raising Project. The thing about it is the anime only really encompasses the first battle royale, and there are others that happen that the anime never covers, and that's where the real story is.
Oh.
It's not about who wins. It's about who dies and how painful they die. John.
Okay, you know what? You know what? And and it's just like, I get it. Just like when you're writing a novel or something or a story, you need to have a hook. And a lot of people like using dramatic scenes and like, oh, look at what the climax holds. You guys should stay for the ride. But more oftentimes than not, I'm just turned off by that because I'm like, if you have to show me the climax of your show to try to get me hooked to watch your show, you're doing a very bad job of getting me to watch your show.
Like, okay, very rarely will I look at a show for the first, like, couple minutes and be like, oh, this isn't interesting me, and then just turn it off. Like, I'm gonna watch the first episode, and then by the end of that, I'll decide whether to keep going. And so you don't have to, like, dump all the crazy stuff at the very first 30 seconds that makes no sense. Like, you can dump it where it's appropriate.
I mean,
now, I want to ask for the three of you, like, because I have a 3-episode rule for most anime I start watching. So, like, I will usually give most anime at least 3 episodes to get my attention. Do you guys do the same thing?
No.
Okay.
I'm just thinking.
I used to.
Like, I'm
I used to as
thinking
well.
of the shows that, okay, for example, ReZero, which I obviously really like. I believe the very first 30 seconds are a flash forward to later in the episode with like people like screaming and dying and blood everywhere and like people having a conversation with each other, and it makes no sense at the time. And if they just did not include that scene at all and then they just played the episode as it normally was, it would have been fine. I don't know why they had to include that. So I'm saying, like, if in shows that are already strong, where I already would have watched it, it would have been better if they didn't include the flash forward at the beginning.
I think it's less
I feel
about...
like ReZero... Well, go ahead.
No, I was about to say, like, very clear. Again, I think it comes down to, like, when you start a show, you want to set a tone for your audience. It's like, so the first thing you see, it's like, oh, shit, this guy is getting butchered, and, like, what's going on? And he's like, trying to save this girl. And it's, especially with ReZero, I think that's what's brilliant about it. And then, like, interject these scenes of him before he gets transported, you know? And you get that sort of contrast of him in his dull life, and then when he's, like, being murdered. I think that works to set the tone for the rest of the show because it keeps that momentum and that intensity for most of the series.
You can set the tone in different ways. Like in ReZero's first episode, when he's in the grocery store, you know, they could have panned to television set in the grocery store where like someone's been brutally murdered, or like there could be some really creepy dialogue. Like, you don't need to flash forward and confuse us.
That could have I see what show's saying. No, I see what you're saying. They could have made that a very interesting match cut. Like if you in the, I think it was a convenience store, not a grocery store he's in. But if they had a TV that had like a news report of a brutal murder, and then all of a sudden like you as a viewer are looking at it, and then it's a match cut to him being brutally murdered in the other world. That would have been awesome.
That's the same thing, but your issue was of them like showing you like sort of the end of the episode at the beginning. That doesn't solve your issue with it.
I'm not talking about match cut. I'm just like, just show the TV. Like maybe the store manager says something really creepy or something, or maybe he bumps into someone and it's like a really creepy encounter. Like I really don't like the flash forward. It's just confusing. It breaks my immersion. Like I'm trying to watch a show, you're giving me out of order. Maybe that's just a personal thing, but I really hate it.
Yeah, like, obviously.
Oh man, if you guys really like this, you guys need to listen to our ReZero spoiler cast.
Yeah. No, I think that ReZero is a bit of an interesting example though, because its first episode is an hour long, which doesn't happen a lot in anime. So you're given double the amount of time to actually introduce everything. So I don't know if that plays into like how it was done, or if it plays into your enjoyment of it. Because personally for me, I mean, I don't care about runtime. All I care really is about an interesting story. And like, I watched the first episode of ReZero, and by the end of it, I felt like it went by so fast. I'm like, was this really a double-length episode?
I know, right?
Because it throws so much at you all at once.
Because ReZero never gives you a time to breathe. There's always something happening. There's always people talking to each other. It always keeps you engaged, so it goes by quickly.
Mm-hmm.
I just want to say that I tried to not look at the runtime, because when I do see that it's going to be like a feature-length episode, I'm like, no, I don't want to watch it. It turns me off, because I'm like, I have to sit here for an hour to watch this? Like, I thought it was going to be 20 minutes. What the fuck? But I felt the same way about ReZero. I actually really liked the first episode, because I was just like, yo, what the fuck is going on? Like, okay, like, what's happening?
And like the cool thing about that beginning is also like it shows you him dying, but it doesn't spoil the fact that like it doesn't spoil his ability until like the midpoint of the episode. So at the beginning you're watching it, it's like, oh shit, he's already dead. Okay, because like if you're completely blind to the show, you don't know really what's gonna happen. So I think it still works as like sort of a tease for what's to come, and again setting the tone of, oh shit, people are gonna die in this show. Okay, let's see what's gonna happen. It's like, there's a lot of things that like at play that I think really make that opening really stick with you.
Oh yeah, for sure. I mean, it definitely sells itself really well in that first episode. Even John, who has come to absolutely despise ReZero, will admit the first episode's really good.
Yeah.
Oh, don't get a lot of the shows on our list here. I actually love the opening episodes. Like, there's opening scenes that I love in each opening episode, and I'm just like, oh man, I like it. And then I finish watching it and I hate it. So that happens.
That is true. The first episode might be the best episode, and
that is very true. And sadly, I think in a lot of anime, that's more often the case.
And a similar thing with the flash forward with ReZero at the very beginning. There's this recent anime called 243 High School Boy Volleyball Club, where the very first scene is like a flash forward, and then you have the episode. And it's very confusing at the very beginning, and they did not need to do the flash forward at the beginning, and I was really annoyed. But I did really like the first episode because something dramatic happens. There is like someone dies, basically. I won't give any more context. Which
I was joking
is
before
really,
I started recording. I didn't mean it.
Which is really, it's really off field because this is a sports anime, so I don't expect people to die. So I'm like, what is happening? I don't know what's happening. But that was like what hooked me in to watch the rest of the anime. But it would have been perfectly fine if they didn't put the flash forward at the beginning, which was super confusing. I think it just might be me because I just really hate it. It just confuses me.
You know, I think it's interesting given the context of the show, because you go in expecting a sports anime, and in very few sports anime I can think of does any character die.
Yeah.
Well, because a lot of sports anime are always like power of friendship, bonds, and like just absurdity, right? Yeah, Nakama. Ore wa Nakama.
Yeah, it's very much along those shonen lines, like, and you don't really it's a sports, and usually it's set in a high school, so you really don't expect these characters to keel over and die. So I think in that case, it may have been like it really played with your expectations a lot. Like, you're going in expecting this heartwarming or, you know, power of friendship-esque sports anime, and you got death.
Honey, you gotta surprise me. You gotta hit me from left field.
All right. So speaking of hitting you from left field and sports anime, I kind of just wanted to talk a little bit about Kuroke's No Basket.
Oh
my
where
God.
It is. If you've ever seen a sports anime and it's about basketball, and you ever wondered, hey man, what would it be like if we had like Dragon Ball Z type of shit while they're playing basketball, doing impossible things? That's the show for you, man. I love Kuroke's No Basket because of how absurd it is. Like, the first episode, it's like, this guy is just super good at fucking basketball. What? How did he CrossFit? What?
Nani?
Yeah, it's like the fucking.
I want John
like
to
in
narrate
Initial
my
D.
life.
Because I'm gonna narrate it like I'm in fucking Initial D, like the guy. Nani? Kansai Drift?
It's the most
Like-
anime sports anime that there is.
Yes,
It
and
is.
It's so great because of that. And shit like that is also memorable, where it's just like what you're just not expecting it. Like one that's just the perfect example is Zombieland Saga.
Yeah, boy.
Now,
No, so they went in so damn deep on that they had like confused everybody as to what the show was actually going to be about, because leading up to the premiere of Zombieland
that
Saga,
was so
like
good.
both Anichar and Mal had listed it as a horror anime, like horror, suspense, psychological, and like the second that the first episode dropped, it's like comedy, slice of life, idol.
yeah, no. So in the first fucking 2 minutes of the episode, our
it's
main character
beautiful.
one of the main character girls is like, "Oh no, I'm late for school. Run out with my pan in my mouth. Yeah!" And then fucking gets hit by a goddamn truck, dude. Like,
And then it just
Like,
cuts
you're
to
like, "Whoa,
metal
what the
music.
yeah, then it's metal music, and she wakes up, and there's a fuck ton of zombies everywhere. I was like, holy shit, is she about to, like, have a battle royale with zombies, like, trapped in this prison or something? And it's like, no, it's just a comedy about zombie idols. And I'm like, what the fuck, dude?
That
You
first
fucked with my
performance.
expectations so
Dude,
much.
that first
No,
performance is amazing.
It's a comedy series about zombie idols with a constant cameo appearance by Mamoru Miyano as himself.
Go, 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 go. Go, 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 go.
It's one of the funniest things. And see, and that's why I'm like, you don't need, if they did a flash forward there, it would have been really fucking stupid where we saw them at the end.
Mm-hmm.
But
Mhm.
shows that like to fuck with your expectations like that and they just go full on, you know, gas pedal down, balls to the wall. Like, we're just going to go crazy with it. I love it. Like, it's just so stupid and I love it.
And we mean like actually subverting expectations, not in like a Ryan Johnson-esque way of like
here
let's
we
just
go.
make it really shitty. I mean like actually subverting your expectations, and like you go in expecting one thing and you get this other thing, but it still makes sense.
Yeah, and then we have something on the opposite spectrum, like Goblin Slayer, where it seems like it's going to be just another high fantasy, like, slice of life, ghostly goblins in an adventure world town. And it's like, nope, murder and rape. First 10 minutes.
Was that
I
a
know
was
there
that a
were- there was
good
also a
first
lot of people
episode or
who-
a bad first episode?
I love the first
I-
episode of Goblin Slayer.
Eh,
I think it
was
was
whatever.
I liked it just because, well, the tone that was set up for Goblin Slayer in the manga, at least when I read it, is that it's going to be a fucked up world, right? So the anime, I don't know why it seems so innocent in the beginning, because I was like, oh, that's kind of weird. This is about raping and killing and goblins and stuff, man. Like, shit.
The first 30 seconds, it seems like this basic generic fantasy thing, and there's like this happy music playing and like this, you know, non-assuming like background noise, and all of a sudden, murder and rape.
See, that's the issue, at least with the like. I don't know how it went in the manga, but that's my issue with the anime, because it started with this tone of it being grim and dark. It was like, okay, sure, I can dig it, and then it never comes close to that tone for the rest of the show for some reason. I'm like, oh, like
Yeah,
you said,
like, it
a
didn't
really
stick
cool
with
tone.
it.
I'm into, but you don't follow up on that. That was my issue.
Yeah,
with it.
and again, and that's part of the whole like we need to do shock value and all this and that to try to get people retained. So one, as in Zombieland Saga, does it really well, and it keeps that energy up throughout the entire fucking series. And then you have shows like Goblin Slayer where it does it to show you, oh, this is not your grandma's bedtime stories, kids. And then
This isn't your
fucking-
uncle's D&D.
Yeah, it might be your uncle's D&D.
Oh, God.
I don't know.
Yeah, it could
Oh
be.
God, run from the uncle.
But my point is like
Your creepy uncle's D&D.
Oh God.
that was implied, Alex. You didn't have to repeat it. But no,
I
my
did,
point is
though.
just that Goblin Slayer, it's the one of the like, here's the hook, and then it doesn't deliver for the rest. I just wanted to mention that as well, since I thought about it and I was like, oh yeah, there's that. Specifically for me, when it comes to opening scenes or opening anime, I listen a lot to the soundtrack.
We know you're a sound whore.
I love music. I love sound design. And let me talk
like
about
noise.
Overlord. Let me fucking talk about Overlord, the first
we go.
episode. So, as everyone knows by now, I love Overlord. I love the light novels. I think that anime is not great, but it's not terrible either.
The
But
first
one thing I
season was
love,
okay.
the one thing I love about Overlord is the goddamn soundtrack. Holy shit. The first episode of Overlord has basically like a third of their the track list playing in all
actually?
scenes, and I'm just like, yeah, like it has the when at the very beginning it has that melancholy like song that plays whenever he's like in deep thought or something sad happens, and it's like boom 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 boom, and I'm just like, oh, I feel sad. And then it goes to like the end where they're doing the allegiance pledge thing to Ainz, like pledging their loyalty to him, and it's like the fucking bone daddy music, dun 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 dun, dun, dun. And I was like, oh yeah. And you even get to see the opening song Clatanoia, which is
Oh, it's
a really
so
good
good.
opening song by OXT. So like it just has everything in it that made me want to watch it, and it's what made me get into the light novel and the manga and stuff. So like it did its fucking job, dude. After the first episode, I was like, I'm hooked. I'm in.
I think just Code Geass also has a similar appeal, that the OST in the very first episode really made the episode for me, because it made the scene so much more tense, especially with the whole terrorist situation. The OST that was playing during that just made the situation just like exponentially more interesting to watch and more tense, and it really did. I think they used the OST really well in Code Geass.
Yeah. Because it's
especially in that first episode.
Yeah, and same thing with Attack on Titan, when like the main, climax of that first episode happens, the OST is there to fucking back it up. The OST takes
And
no
it's fucking
breaks.
Sawano
Fucking-
just going hard.
Yeah, you know what? I was
Sawano.
gonna
Yuki
say.
Sawano.
I was gonna say, as much as I might detest Attack on Titan, I will give it credit where credit is due. It has never slipped on its OST, not a single time.
No.
Okay, and I just want to mention that basically anything Hiroyuki Sawano touches, the first episodes are always interesting, but the
Oh,
rest
for
of the
sure.
show
True.
usually fails to deliver. Because I'm thinking of like all the
Alnoa
other
Zero?
ones that Alnoa Zero. I love the first 3 episodes. Weren't those written by Gen Urobuchi?
Yes.
I know the first 2 at least were written by Gen Urobuchi, and then like
Yeah.
everyone
And
was
that's
looking
why
at
they
him
were-
after the rest of the show sucked. He's like, I didn't touch it. Fuck that.
Yeah. Wow, the episodes that Gen Urobuchi made were actually great, and then the rest were shit. But I'm trying to. What was the other one? The one that was like a reverse isekai where they summoned the world. and
Recreators?
fought. Recreators.
Yeah,
Same
Recreators.
thing. Where Hiroyuki Sawano is on the soundtrack, and the first episode's like, oh, Hiroyuki Sawano's hyping the shit out of it, and then you watch the second episode, you're like, what happened? It's been 15 minutes. What happened?
Yeah, but yeah, like I think you're right. Just about any anime that has Hiroyuki Sawano doing the soundtrack, the first episode of the first few minutes are probably gonna be pretty epic.
Yeah, and it sets the tone, it sets the immersion, and it's a really good way to sink me into it. just like show. I like immersion.
You can talk about like the OPs and the EDs too for drawing you in and making you want to watch more.
That's a
I know
different episode, Alex.
I know it is, but I wanted to bring it up because I know there's been at least one anime that John only watched because of either an OP or an ED.
Okay, sometimes anime don't grab my attention, but sometimes the music does, and I stick around for the music.
You sad man.
It is very sad, and when in that episode where I talked about it, and Cho was like, "Why didn't you just go watch it on YouTube?" Like, I didn't even consider it.
Oh my god!
I never.
Are you living in like 1990? Like, girl, just put it on YouTube.
Shut up.
Listen,
I didn't think
John,
about it.
welcome to the 21st century.
Shut up,
Um,
guys.
Just like to touch on again about the whole sound thing, I think another show that really nailed that sort of like that hooks you in through like with the sound itself was Made in Abyss. I think like the first time you hear that like I can't remember the name of that track, but whatever with the vocals, when the sun rises, that whole moment itself, it's like it's so full of wonder, and the music is awesome, and the animation looks amazing, the background, it's like it all comes together to like give you that moment of whoa, like I'm watching something really fucking cool.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
And you know, we've already talked about it, but Cowboy Bebop soundtrack.
Yeah, of course.
Yoko
Fucking
Kanno,
Tank,
dude.
the opening. Oh my
Yeah,
god.
Yoko Kanno.
But yeah, I don't think there's ever been an anime where the OP or ED has like made me watch the show. I mean, like it's nice peripheral, but it's not like gonna make me watch the show.
But would you agree that there's sometimes you see it in the first episode, either an OP or an ED, that's like it's definitely a nice addition?
I don't know if this was in the first episode, but I know that the OP for like a lot of shonen anime where like I'm specifically thinking Fire Force, that OP was like so good, and like it's so like in those shonen anime where like they like dump all the budget into the action
Into the
scenes in the OP.
Yeah.
That's like
Yeah.
that is really like a good. It's like it sets the tone. It like it's really gratifying to watch. I think Seraph of the End also does that as well. So I guess in those situations it does help. But
OP's setting the tone in the first episode. Sounds like every single part of JoJo, doesn't it, Natsai?
Every single OP in JoJo hooks you in, dude. And it like resets you. It's like every time a new OP comes on, it's like, oh, I need to watch this show. Oh, dummy. Every time. I mean, honestly, dude, I remember
It
somehow like
Pavloved you guys.
I mean, I remember watching. I think it was Bloody Stream. Like with no context, someone showed me
Oh, yeah.
Bloody Stream, second OP of JoJo. I'm like, whoa, what the
That's the first one.
JoJo? Yeah, but
JoJo's.
it's so unique. It's so different. It's like honestly, there's like nothing like it. All of the OPs, especially like the first 4 ones where they were like entirely made in CG. You know, that also
And
are really good to hook you.
good CG.
Good
Let's be
CG.
clear, good CG.
But John mentioned Overlord, mentioned Overlord. I think that's also an OP I watched before I knew of the show. Someone sent me that OP. It's like, oh, it's really good. It looks really cool. I'm like, oh, I guess I'll watch it now. Because again, like some OPs are that good that they can hook you into watching a show you have no interest in watching. And then you have some
for sure,
OPs,
yeah.
and then you have some OPs where at first I remember watching Your Lie in April, and at first watching that opening, I was like, is this show for me? Is it? It's a bit too cheerful for my taste. I mean, eventually it became one of my favorites, but at first I distinctly remember watching like, I don't think this is for me. This is not for me. Nope. So it can have like a reverse effect.
You could say the same thing about the OPs and EDs for March Comes in Like a Lion, because like they really set the tone for how stylized the anime is going to be.
March Comes in Like a Lion. That first episode, dude, is so good because it starts out like super melancholic and super depressing, and the music in that show is so beautiful. It's like it draws you in. And that first moment of the show is like as Ray is standing beneath the bridge, and they're all like the animation itself is black and white. It's very harsh colors. It's so good. And that first episode on its own, I can talk about it for ages. It's that good. It's so good at like putting you in the head of Ray and like the sort of the daily life lives he goes through or whatever. That episode is great.
Thinking about it, the Yuri on Ice OP kind of made the first episode for me. Like, that was a fucking epic OP. I died for that OP. So I'll give
give you that one.
There's some exceptions. I will give Yuri on Ice that.
All right.
Were you born to make history?
Yes.
Yes, queen.
We're queen.
Yes, queen.
But you know what? He says that, but I know how to make his eyes roll into the back of his head anytime someone brings up Yuri on Ice.
What, Victor?
Yeah. Oh, I'm the king,
It's
JJ.
JJ
No,
style.
not JJ.
No one defeats me.
He hates JJ with a passion.
Once
Why?
again,
Because he's Canadian?
Almost as
no, it's
bad
because
as
it's
Justin
Mamoru
Bieber.
Miyano.
Almost.
Wow, fuck you.
Wow.
Wait, what do
Once
you mean?
again, Mamoru Miyano saves anime.
Yes.
Uh,
So one thing that I'm always really particular about with anime or any kind of fiction really is I really want the beginning to introduce the world, because I'm a stickler for world building. I love world building. I definitely want the anime that I'm watching to show me at least part of the world, but maybe not all of it. I don't want to be introduced to all of it all at once, because that seems like it's too much. But show me, a good example of what I can expect from your world
Made in Abyss.
and the setting your story takes place in. And we've already mentioned it, but I want to bring it up again. JoJo's Bizarre Adventure Part 4, Diamond is Unbreakable, is probably I love every part of JoJo to some degree or
fucking
another.
turtle?
That's in Part 5.
I mean, there's a turtle. No. There's a turtle in part 4 as well. JoJo saves him.
I swear,
from
there's-
punks.
That's
Yeah.
true. That's true.
Yeah.
That's true.
Oh,
I forgot
Mister,
about
I'm
that.
professional JoJo's. How did I remember that? But you didn't. I didn't even watch part 4, bro.
Wow. Anyway,
Oh, I was about to say, part 5 also has a really great opening for an episode. Like the way that you,
it does.
like the intro of Giorno walking in fuck, which city was it? It doesn't matter. Italy, just walking in the streets and like stealing stuff and doing all sort of like shenanigans or whatever. And how slowly you learn about the mobs, and you meet Bucciarati and you meet Koichi and how it's related to Jotaro, and that whole like overarching like. It adds to the world itself feeling that much more alive, because it's connected somewhat to characters we know and love.
It does. And you see the picture of Dio.
And you see the picture of Dio, and you see a picture of the Crusaders. It's so fucking good.
But no, I wanted to point out Part 4 in particular, because like if you look at all the other parts of JoJo, at least the parts that have been animated so far, they all take place in a bunch of different settings. I mean, you have Part 1, I mean, yeah, it largely takes place in the UK, but it's kind of in different parts of the UK. You have Part 2, which takes place
All over the
in
place.
like Mexico, Central America. Again, and there's a
Venice.
scene in Italy. You have Part 3, which takes place in Southeast Asia, the Middle East, and Egypt. But then you have Part 4, which takes place. It's all contained in one city, and that first episode, it's in Morio, and that first episode does a really good job of introducing the setting of Morio. Like it makes it seem like it's going to be a compelling place to investigate this mystery that's been going on about
it is.
stand users being killed.
Yeah, and it's great. And you see all these different places, and it's like these different like places of note, I suppose, like Angela's like stone face that eventually becomes that. And it's great. It feels like a lived-in place. It's awesome.
And also, like, even though the main villain of Part 4 is not introduced in that first episode, if you pay really close attention in one scene in the background, you can see him walk by.
Oh my
That
god.
motherfucker.
And that's the thing, like, the great thing about Part 4 is that it feels like this really lived-in world, because you see these characters that you've already been introduced to just walking in the background of some scenes, and they're not actually part of that scene.
Yeah, part 4 is amazing.
That's something that the first episode of Part 4 did so well in establishing the setting of Morio and making it feel like a real place, and a place you actually wanted to get to know. And like, I fucking love when anime do that, when they genuinely set up the setting that the story is going to take place in that well.
So I just wanted to talk about Part 5 a little bit.
Do it.
This taste is the taste of
Of
a
a
liar.
Giorno
Giorno
Giovanna.
Giovanna.
Giorno Giovanna.
I fucking just again harking back to the whole fucking absurd shit. I love it.
Yeah.
Like, and then the music too. Like Giorno's theme is fucking fire, dude. Like
I can't
Yeah,
wait to see what
exactly.
they do for Jolene.
Oh, it's gonna be so
I don't
good.
know.
Yeah, actually, I feel like you're gonna really like the first episode of Part 6 too, Natai.
Winter 2022. I'm calling it. It's gonna be amazing.
That's why I love Part 5 is still my favorite part of JoJo's, but that's a big part of the reason why I love Part 4 so much is how well it establishes the setting and the two main characters of Part 4, like right from the get-go.
And so elegantly. Like it's you don't even notice it.
And it very subtly introduces the mystery because you're not even sure. I mean, because in the first episode of Part 4, it's like it's framed around Jotaro trying to find Josuke, but then you're very subtly introduced to this idea that stand users are being killed. And it's not put at the forefront. It's almost like you're hearing it in the background, like whispers of it.
Yeah. Just in general, murdering this very quiet suburban town. You know, it's like,
yes,
why?
And
it's great. It's such a good framing device for the entire part. It's like, it's this quiet town is really chill and all, but there's a murder on the loose, and what's up with that? It's so good. It's such a good hook.
And that's another great thing, like to go along with establishing the world that I loved in opening episodes. Introduce an interesting mystery, especially if that's going to be a central plot thread of your story. The best example I can think of, although we know that the second season this anime turned out like shit, is The Promised Neverland. Like the first episode of that show, oh my god,
it's amazing.
That
the
had
whole
me
season
hooked from
is
the
amazing.
word go. The whole first season is absolutely amazing. It's really a shame what happened to the second season.
Honestly, I think that like The Promised Neverland, the first episode, the best part of it was the directing and how well they like did the OST and the production and everything. Because like it's not really a twist. Like you see it coming. It's like, oh my god, no way. Like come on. It's kind of.
But it's the execution of the twist.
The execution
that makes
is
it
really
how
good
it's-
though. It's not so much the
Yeah.
surprise. It's just that it's really well directed and produced.
The thing
It's
about it is
horrifying.
you go in knowing there's going to be a mystery. You go in knowing there's probably going to be a twist. You don't exactly know what that twist is going to be per se, but how you're introduced to it and how it goes about like showing you how this fits into the world, that's what makes it so good. And like you say, it's the directing. It's how it's done, not what is done.
Yeah.
That's why I fucking love the first episode of Promise Neverland. I don't think I have ever been so committed so soon to say, yep, I'm going to watch this whole thing right now. I think within the first 15, 20 seconds, I'm like, yep, watching this whole thing.
I have never seen Promise Neverland. I know how it ends because my girlfriend doesn't shut up about it. So
I think the first season is worthwhile.
Oh yeah, the first season.
The first season is worth watching, but I mean, honestly, everything
Stop there.
past that, read the manga.
I've heard the manga isn't that great.
I mean,
I don't know. I heard the manga is great. I just didn't bother with the second season. The moment people were like, nope. I'm like, okay, I don't need to watch it then.
No,
I'll cherish the memories of the first
Yeah.
season.
Yes, that's the best way to experience it.
speaking of cherishing the memories of the first season, man, let's talk about Tokyo Ghoul.
Oh, God.
So, oh god, yeah, that went to shit fast. So the one thing that I really like
that
about
first
Tokyo
episode,
Ghoul
though.
is that one thing that is really good to do in your opening episode is to do something unique. To do something that other shows don't do. Like in the volleyball anime, sports anime don't kill people. Do something unique. In Tokyo Ghoul, there's not a lot of horror anime that take things seriously. And for Tokyo Ghoul, I felt like the first episode they took it seriously with the horror. And I especially love the scene where like Kaneki is having a change and he can't like eat regular food and he's just like throwing up the food. I thought that was such an interesting scene that like you couldn't get really anywhere else in anime. Like you're never going to get a scene like that. So I really liked how seriously they took the horror elements in the first episode, and you don't get that a lot.
Yeah.
I would also agree because it's very impactful of a scene, and it made me interested. I can't remember if Unravel was in the first episode.
It was.
I don't remember. Probably. Let's just say it was.
which is
Okay.
an amazing
Because I do-
opening.
Oh yeah, fucking Unravel was really good, and again, the music makes me stay. But no, the original premise was just Kaneki's like the first episode in the introduction is just really interesting. It's like, what the fuck is happening? Like, it's gonna be actually psychological horror? I was kind of afraid that it was gonna be just like a gore fest, like another.
Yeah, that would have been shit.
Because I would have hated
Yeah.
that. But I mean, I hate Tokyo Ghoul for other reasons now. But that first episode.
I think even Tokyo Ghoul fans hate Tokyo Ghoul now.
Yeah, most of the first season is really fucking great though.
I think the first
Yeah.
season started strong and ended strong. So the middle, it kind of just.
Yeah, I agree. And I
Hey,
can't
we're
even.
gonna talk about Route A.
I mean, say what you will about Route A, it gave us Glassy Sky, and I'm not mad about that. That was an amazing soundtrack for Route A.
Yeah, it's a great soundtrack.
That's the only
also,
redeeming quality about it.
also
and
great
the
like
animation.
fight scenes. It just looked beautiful.
Yeah.
It just the plot was just a little all over the place.
It was a beautiful turd. That was. It was. God, I loved it.
Oh Jesus! So I guess another great way to have a compelling first episode of an anime is to actually introduce your main characters in a very memorable way. I think
Like in
there's several...
Kill la Kill.
Kill la Kill. I pretty much anything that Hiroyuki Imaishi directs.
Yeah, he's great with the character introductions. Honestly.
Yeah, Kill la Kill, Gurren Lagann, Premiere.
Gurren Lagann
Yeah.
is such a good like opening episode because it sets up like you don't even know like what the scale of the story is gonna be like, but from the get go, like, oh wow, we're gonna just keep pushing forward and just like discover this world around us, and it's gonna be amazing. It's gonna be fun, and all of these characters are super charismatic, so it's gonna be great. It's such a
And
fun
our drill
opening.
will pierce the heavens.
Definitely not a penis reference.
No. My great drill will pierce the heavens.
Oh, John Summer.
I'll pierce your heavens, honey.
Listen,
I hate it here.
yeah, but with Kill la Kill, one thing I really like is what I like about Kill la Kill is the breakneck speed and pace of the show. Like, it's just very Trigger-esque, like very Inferno Cop, very Space Patrol Luluco. Like, I just fucking love how stupid it is. I like stupid shows. I realize this
Inferno
now that I'm
Cop.
talking. It's just like, we're just going to be super stupid and absurd, and we're just going to keep going at a breakneck speed, and we're not going to do recaps. Fuck that noise.
Yeah, I mean that's Hiroyuki Imaishi in a nutshell. Like that's how he creates.
And it works really well.
Yeah, I love how in Kill la Kill, like I haven't finished watching that first episode, but I caught like the opening of it. That opening is amazing, and I love how he introduces the main character. It's like you see how crazy the school is, then you go past the school and you see this lone student at the outside, and it's like the transfer student, like making a big deal out of it with this fucking camera work, and then it's like Kill la Kill, boom, you're into the show immediately. It's so much fun.
Like, and that's another one. Like, right from the word go, you're introduced to the stylistic way that this show is done. Like, and it permeates throughout the entire run of the show. It never goes away, and I appreciate that so much.
Yeah.
Again, like Gurren Lagann, like the way you're introduced to Simone and Kamina, like I could not ask for better character introductions than that in an anime.
Love Kamina so much.
Also, Yoko's
Even
introduction.
Yoko, like the way Yoko comes in and she's like
So
fall down,
good.
like got this tiny framed girl with this massive fucking gun.
Oh, I thought you were
That
gonna say
gun.
something else.
Well, massive titties too for a 14-year-old girl.
Oh,
Oh,
God,
God,
that's right.
we're
she's
getting-
Yeah,
14.
she's 14.
Oh,
We're
God.
getting,
FBI, hello.
Moshi Moshi FBI. No, I look back at that and I'm like, that gun she's carrying must weigh at least 30 pounds.
It's a Barrett 50. It's more like 40 something, but yeah.
But
How
okay,
have you
at
know?
least 30 pounds. There's no way. There's no way she can use that gun as well as she does.
Well, I mean, it's freaking Trigger in Imaishi's like, we're just going to be absurd and draw crazy cool things. Put flames on
Imaishi just
everything.
lives in the rule of cool. That's it. That's all he does.
Yeah, pretty much.
Like, does it
rule
look
of
cool?
cool,
Does it
pretty
sound
much.
cool? Is it cool? I'm gonna fucking do it. Does it make sense? Fuck that. I don't care.
Also, it's kind of not as high energy, but like if we're talking character introductions, the introduction of like Guts in Berserk, like this fucking guy with this huge ass sword just destroying everything around him. It's like
a fucking
whoa,
hunk
dude.
of iron.
Pretty much. Yeah.
Was it Dragon Killer?
Dragon Slayer, dude?
Was that his fucking Dragon Slayer? Oh.
Also, by the way, rest in peace, Kentaro Miura.
Oh yeah.
Oh
for
my
sure.
god, yeah.
You
So
and
sad.
I've talked to John about this. We're gonna do eventually. We're gonna do an episode all about Berserk and Miura. So
Yeah, stay tuned,
I don't know
guys.
when that's happening, but eventually. I hate to use someone's death to do this, but I really want to reread Berserk.
Oh, it's so fucking good.
Berserk definitely helped set up a lot of like dark fantasy novels.
Yeah.
Like looking at the time that Berserk released, there weren't actually very many dark manga out there.
No, a lot of the ones that revolved around any kind of fantasy or magic were kind of upbeat.
Yeah, they're all like adventure and like basically trying to be Lord of the Rings. And then you have Berserk, which is like
The darkest
there's
of
a
fantasies.
fucking
Too
Yeah.
angry to die.
Literally this giant grotesque monster is about to eat up this fucking lady, and then a dude with a fucking cannon arm with a giant fucking sword twice the size of his body.
And he's not even a good
Oh,
dude.
man.
He's not even doing it because he's a good guy.
No,
That's the
he's just
thing.
mad. He's
just
angry.
mad. He's angry.
Oh,
Now,
man.
like
Berserk is so
the
good.
character, like Guts' introduction in Berserk is just perfect.
Oh, I was just gonna say, because I was gonna segue into art and animation, because so that first episode of the anime is great, but what I really love is the manga because of how detailed everything is in the manga. Like he didn't have to do that, but he did, and it makes it all the much better.
And even
And
in
I
the early
fucking
chapters,
adore-
he's still so good.
Yeah. And it really helps set the tone for that dark fantasy setting.
those-
'Cause, like you can
Natai-
literally feel like you're there.
Natai, you want to know what's crazy about that?
Mm.
That was made before I was born, and I'm
my God.
old.
Oh god.
But I wanted to talk about art and animation as well because I know everyone's gonna roll their fucking eyes, but man, did Sword Art Online have really good battle scenes?
Oh my god, yes. It was so beautiful.
I will not roll my eyes at that. I will say the first half of the first season of Sword Art Online really good, especially the first episode. The first episode
good
of
hook,
Sword Art
yeah.
Online's first season was really good. It got me hooked immediately.
It's a really
Yeah,
good hook.
I really liked the Crossing Field by Lisa. I still listen to that song. I
John
fucking
the
love
Sound
that song.
Whore.
I think the part of the hook of Sword Art Online is that it did do something unique for its time in that it was the first big production that used that premise. So
Like
it was
Isekai?
unlike anything else that we had at the time.
Stuck in a video game. But I mean,
No, gotcha. Okay.
Dot Hack did that
But
too.
Dot
right?
Hack wasn't nearly as well produced.
No, not at all.
Yeah, it wasn't the first, but yeah, it was the first like big budget version of that. Like, I
Yeah.
mean, you could say that like something like Dot Hack is a similar premise, but not anywhere near the budget.
Well, I just want to say, like, it's very rare for me to actually stick around because of art and animation. Like, I like good art and animation because it helps set the tone and the settings. But mainly, it's just Sword Art Online and Fire Force that I was just like, I was drawn to the show because of the art and animation.
Girl,
and nothing
the
else.
first minute of Fire Force where Shinra just like does some Sakuga in the train. Holy shit, that sold me on the show right there. That was like some of the most
Oh, it's great
epic animation I've seen in like ever. Jesus
Right?
Christ.
Bless David Production.
Bless David Production.
And that's one of the like the better like more memorable ways because it's something you see right of an opening of an anime. It's just it's rare for me to actually care about that is all I'm saying, and I just wanted to mention that because I didn't know if we were gonna actually mention it because out of all the shows on our list, that's the only two I can remember that I was like, oh my god, I love these scenes.
I mean, very recently.
like just for an aesthetic.
Very recently, I mean, Jujutsu Kaisen was released, and that first episode's animation, I mean, actually for all of the season, the animation is amazing. But that first episode has like really terrific fight choreography and animation that really blew me away. So I don't know, like from time to time there will be like, because they tend to like have like a really fucking cool set piece for anime in general if it's like very action based. For shows that like so they'll put like I think it was Kekai Sensen's second season that they had a really cool action sequence for the first episode. But yeah, I get what you're saying. Specifically, Jujutsu Kaisen did that for me like very recently when I started watching it. Really cool fight scenes.
I should probably watch it. Like,
it's really
I've heard
good.
a lot of things about.
I've heard nothing but great things about this anime, so I don't know why I keep putting off watching.
I'll tell you what. It's weird. It's like it's the most shonen you can be, but it trims a shit ton of fat, and it doesn't do anything exceptional in terms of like the story. It just the characters are really fun, and the animation is really good all the way to the end of the show. Like every episode has a really cool like animation in it, whether it's a fight scene or just something really fun and cool on the side. It's just like I don't agree that it's like a masterpiece or something. I don't get that, but it is really fucking good. It really reminds me of like One Punch Man with how every episode you have like really cool fight animations. It's great.
That's one thing that people keep saying. Like it's some of the best animated fight scenes.
It is. It's really fucking good.
I wouldn't say it's the best I've ever seen, but it is worth watching just for the animation. It's very good animation.
No, but it's not even like the quality; it's how consistent it is. Every episode has a really good like fight scene. It's insane.
Yeah, I don't know if this necessarily counts as art and animation, but when I went back and watched the remake that they've been doing of Legend of the Galactic Heroes, and I watched, especially having watched the entire original thing from back in the 80s and 90s, I look at the CGI in that and I'm like, God damn, this is exactly this is why they should have waited as long as they did to make this. Like, I love the original Legend of the Galactic Heroes to death, mostly because of its story, and they were really struggling to animate the type of story they were trying to tell back then. But I'm like, God damn, technology has caught up to them, and now they can tell this story the way it should have been seen. And like the animation in that first episode of the remake is so good.
It's definitely impressive for someone like you and me who are already invested in the story and want to see a better version of it.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, because you've gone and you've watched the entire original series now, haven't you? Like, don't you agree that they were like aiming well above their ability back then to tell the kind of story they were trying to tell?
Yeah, like they couldn't portray the emotions on the faces because the faces didn't move, and the laser fights were hard to follow because the spaceships didn't move. So.
Yeah, in the original space battles, the ships never moved.
I like how the new series has like a 3D projector model of what's going on in the space battle. So I'm like, oh, I get it. I get what's happening.
Yeah, that was something that just blew me away with the remake, because like I'm already leery of remakes anyway, so I went into that with I'm really tempering my expectations, because I think that Legend of Galactic Heroes is one of the few genuine masterpieces that's ever come out of anime. And I'm like, please just don't fuck this up. And I was very pleasantly surprised that they didn't.
Honey, maybe before we die, they'll finish remaking it. Maybe.
I know.
Maybe.
I mean, it seems like they're going to take as long to do this remake as they did with the original.
I'm pretty sure it's going to be longer, because wasn't the original just like constantly airing?
Well, it was done as OVAs.
Oh.
The entire thing was an OVA series.
I see.
So I think it was like once a month or twice a month maybe they had new episodes.
Yeah, but it was
out.
consistent. Whereas this is just like whenever we feel like it, we'll pop one out.
Yeah. I mean, quality-wise, I can't complain with what they're producing.
Mm-hmm.
To your comment about finishing before you die, some people thought they're gonna finish like Berserker's gonna end before they died, and
Yeah. I used to make that joke, and that joke's not funny anymore.
Oh God! Oh no!
Yeah, I remember. I mentioned that. I was like, in the last 2 episodes we made that joke, right?
Oh,
so funny.
Yeah, not the last WTF, but the WTF we had before that, I made the joke that Mira's gonna die before we ever get Berserk finished, and that joke's not funny anymore. I really just want to go take that episode down now.
Insert that guts theme from Berserk 97. Just cry.
Oh man. But yeah, I mean, it's by no means the only one. I mean, the manga for High School of the Dead died before that got finished.
Oh, that's true. That's true, yeah.
Yeah, but that was a bad manga, so who cares?
Hey, it was a good manga. It was a fun zombie story.
It was the fucking boob.
Wait, that was
it was
a
crazy.
zombie
It was
story?
stupid.
I thought it was just
Yeah,
a
no,
harem.
Okay, it
was
was
a
more about titties than anything else, but
It's about how titties could flap around and bullets can pass right through them without hitting the
That's
titties.
I mean,
right.
that's what I got from the show.
honestly, it was a huge mistake that the MythBusters never tried that out.
Oh God.
Yeah.
One of these days, I'm gonna do like an Anime Busters thing, and I'm gonna just put all these things from anime to task and see if they can actually happen.
Oh my
I feel
God.
sorry for the woman.
All right,
that
and
has
with
to
that,
participate.
Yeah,
guys.
I think that's actually a good place to wrap this up. So that's our thoughts on what makes good first episodes of anime. If you have an anime that you love the first episode of that we didn't talk about, do be sure to let us know below and why you love it so much. But with
So
that,
fucking
I'm gonna
much.
stop it there. Yeah. Yes. With that, I'm going to stop it there. Thank you all out there for dropping in to listen to us. Check the description below to find links to Anime Club, After Dark, on Twitch, on social media, and on Discord. Check out our merch store and our affiliate links as well. Any purchases you make there do really help us out. With that, I have been your host, Alex, and I will see you next time. Say goodnight, everybody.
Good night.
My name is Yoshikage Kira. I'm 33 years old. My house is in the northeast section of Morio, where all the villas are, and I am not married. I work as an employee for the Kameiyu department stores, and I get... Okay, I'm done.
Dio!
You know what that was, John?
What?
That was a beautiful duang.
I'm gonna die.
Chew.
Go!